Hello guys, NautoAce here. I'm gonna give my quick thoughts on the other event that happened on June the 10th, 2022, Friday. Unfortunately, to some extent, I didn't watch them live, but I did watch them on demand. And fortunately, to some extent, for both the Tribeca showcase and the Epic Game Store showcase, I'm really less interested on the game they showed to some extent. First of all, the Epic Game Store. They have their own launcher, supposed to compete with Steam. Sure, cool. There is sort of a downside that there are some quote-unquote exclusive that you can only play it on the Epic Game Store. But again, that's how business works. And when it comes to the Tribeca games, there's really nothing that catch my eye except for one, but they already showed this. And I'm gonna give my thoughts on those later. But before that, I want to do a follow-up on the Devolver Digital presentation. So like I said, the presentation itself didn't really make sense. I'm like, what is this? And I looked up one of the game because I gotta give credit to the Spawncast crew. They kind of talk about it, and that's the Plucky Squire. So I looked at it on the trailer. I'm like, oh wow, maybe I did miss something. Because the first time I watched the video, I was doing something else. Nothing personal, but because it was just too weird. And I just kind of skimmed the Plucky Squire, but apparently there was more than ECI. So for what people said, it's sort of a mixed genre. So it starts out like a Legend of Zelda, and then there was even one part that it's a punch out. There's even a shooter, and the interesting part is that there will be at one point you pop off the storybook and you become 3D. So that's kind of interesting how the game goes. So all right, so maybe I'll give that a chance. So maybe that the Devolver Digital showcase wasn't that like really didn't make sense, but still I'm like okay. So yeah, so with that said, first the Tribeca game. So they showed some games there, but the only one that I'm interested was Cuphead the Delicious Last Course. It was an interview segment. They kind of explain what happened, the delay, and what's the process, the procedure of doing Cuphead and the DLC. Pretty good, very informative. So eventually in the long run, I am going to get this DLC, probably first in the Xbox, because I have that game on the Xbox IE window. You saw my showcase, and yeah, it was just hard, but you know, it is what it is there. So moving from that is the Epic Game Store Summer Showcase. First of all, I do play PC game to some extent. I play Steam, Epic. If I have no access to play my console, I just go play on my PC. I mean, again, option is there, but if you're saying like, well, do you play like PC exclusive games? Not so much, because best games on PC are one of those using the mouse, keyboard, like first-person shooter. I don't play that. Real-time strategy, definitely I don't play that. Turn-based Japanese RPG, maybe. So again, it is what it is. But I did scam the Epic Game Store. I'm sorry, but like I said, I was a bit busy. But I did see the games that I'm like, maybe to some extent. So such as first, Lord of the Ring, Return to Moria, some sort of spin-off Lord of the Ring, only the Epic Game Store. Ghostbusters Spirit Unleashed, you play as a bunch of Slimers. Okay, sure, again, it's one of those probably arena competition. Okay, here's something that's interesting. They're in their beta, PC Building Simulator 2. Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking about getting the first one just for funs and giggles. But again, hey, there's a sequel? Sure. Sifu is going to get a new update. Again, I heard good things about Sifu. But, you know, like I said, I have to try the game out. Goat Simulator 3, more info. Disney Speedstorm, they're going to have a closed beta. And they showed another new track called the Silver Screen, which is basically you start out in a theater and then you go into the screen and then you go to this 1930 world, black and white. Kind of interesting with the stage there, but again, remember, this is a free-to-play game, so they are in their closed beta. Giga Bash, Kaiju Arena fighting game, enough said. Ramen Food Fight Arena. So guys in apron with ramen. Sure. New stuff for Rocket League. I know it's a free-to-play game. Fall Guys, same goes. It's going to be free-to-play. It's going to be on console. And if you want to play it on PC, unfortunately, it's going to be the Epic Game Store. It kind of makes sense. Same goes with Rocket League, since both of them are owned by Epic. I mean, kind of makes sense there. And then they're finally out on the beta for Rogue Company. That was one of the games that was on the Nintendo Direct in 2020, the partner showcase. I call it Rogue League for whatever reason because I don't really care. It's a free-to-play game. I think that's also in console, but it's going to be also in PC. Maybe it's an exclusive again to the Epic Games Store. It is what it is. They finally coming out of the beta. So again, they're going to have more guns, more character, more stages. You know, it is what it is, like their Fortnite, which I'm surprised. By the way, they did not talk about anything new about Fortnite. I know they already showed like the season or whatever. I don't play the game, just saying that. So ending with this Epic Game Showcase is, again, Saint Row on the Epic Game Store, the boss mode app. I did talk about that before, so again, there you go. So I'm just gonna say this, like, this presentation, they're not bad. It's basically for people who, if you're a fan of the Epic Game Store, more power to you. But they kind of show what they're gonna have for that one. I think Steam also gonna have their own exclusive, but that's a different story there. Again, for the Tribeca Games, at least they're giving more info for the other game. But like I said, Cuphead's the only one I'm interested in. So those are my quick thoughts on the Tribeca Games and the Epic Game Showcase. So with that, I'll see you guys later.